All right, we're back for another Inconceivable live episode launch party. Check out our whole new panel. We'll all introduce ourselves if you guys have never been to one of these Inconceivable live launches. I'm Joel. I'm the co-creator and director of Inconceivable.
And I'm Rachel. I am a co-writer also.
I'm Katie. I play Rita in the show.
I'm Trevor. I'm a guy off the street, but I also play Adam's dad.
So,
Exactly.
All right. So, obviously this week we relaunched episode 5 of Inconceivable. We really hope you guys enjoyed it. We were pretty proud of what we managed to pull off here. It's definitely one of my favorite episodes. And I know, Rachel, how is it for you, doing something that is obviously so kind of close to home?
It was really fun. I personally was the one who came up with the idea to show the coming out at the same time as coming out, showing the coming out as pregnant, coming out as lesbian versus coming out as pregnant, and I think it worked really well. I think those scenes were really fun. It was a very interesting juxtaposition. Often, like in life, there are tons of ways you can come out. There are tons of closets to come out of, and it was fun. It's fine. It's good. It's vulnerable, but fun. Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I think for me this is personally my favorite episode. It's very, even though it kind of has some like depressing beats in it, it's also like it's very random and different compared to them all. Like it has its own flavor. I think this one and episode 4 are just such outliers in the series. And so, Trevor, how was it joining the crew for your very first episode here?
Well, it was a blast. I've been a long-time fan of This Is a Spoon Studios, and getting on set with these guys and just enjoying this amazing story and how it's being... the fact that it's true blows my mind, which is amazing, right? But to see in this specific episode, like a positive, fantastic reaction from parental figures with something like this, as opposed to like seeing the juxtaposition between the two, like coming out and then coming out as pregnant. When I grew up in Saskatchewan, if you can't tell, and there's not a lot of openness there. There's a lot of farm people, and a lot of people just don't really know how to talk about stuff. And to see this come out, literally, in video form for people to really enjoy and get behind it, it's fun. It's fantastic. It's great. Yay.
Nice. And then Katie, was this episode different I thought I called you Rita for a second.
Because you were thinking Rita, but then you said Katie.
Yeah. Was it different working on this compared to the other episodes? Because it's all kind of jumbled into one, but most of this episode was shot in one day, which kind of makes it a bit different.
Yeah. This episode was like an intense one to do. There was a lot. I think probably most of the like dialogue that I like, continuous running dialogue that I have in this is in this episode. And also at the same time, this episode has scenes like where I say the least, and I'm just like like kind of ping-ponging around with other characters, which is really cool. So like, yeah, I found that this episode had a lot of juxtaposition in a lot of different ways, and that was really fun. So I had a great time.
Awesome. So now that most people have joined the stream, we're gonna do. If this is your first time watching one of these live streams, we end up watching our newest episode and kind of doing a commentary together. If you haven't watched the episode yet, it's called Inconceivable Episode 5, Meet Your Makers. This would be a great time to just quickly pop off of this and watch the episode. You'll miss the commentary, but then you'll be able to come back right after and be caught up to speed. It's a really fun episode, but if you've already seen it, come join us for the live commentary. And then, guess what we have going on right after? Right after this is over, we're going to do a little quick chat with Bruce Novakowski. We finally figured out how to get Skype working on a live stream.
He is stoked.
And
we're like technical wizards or something.
It took way too much effort, but hopefully that works. We actually have Bruce already on the phone, like waiting to be called in.
We can
So
see him right
we
now.
can actually see his face, but pretty
He went like
soon
this.
It's
you guys
adorable.
will be able to
After
see
that.
his face, and that's half the fun.
Bruce, put your
And then he went
pants
like
on.
That was him.
Yeah.
I'm being Bruce for you.
Okay, so yeah, let's watch the episode. If you haven't watched the episode, go watch it separate and then come back to this stream. It's gonna be super fun, and then yeah, exciting stuff. So, Inconceivable episode 5,
Whoop whoop.
Enjoy.
Story Hive. Those are the guys who gave us money. So
Oh, yeah.
all the
Where do we go? Did our screen disappear?
oh shoot, we need to be in this. I'm gonna throw us right in.
Can we still hear us?
They can hear us.
Okay.
So there's a printer.
Well, at least we're talking. That's good.
Also, that shot, that see
It's
how
safe to say that
Katie
every girl
slash
has a
Rita is
conversation
cutting
with
out
herself
a
about
picture of a
what she would
beautiful
do if
baby.
she found herself
That is
pregnant.
one of the
Uh-oh.
very first
There we
photos
go.
of Bowie, which is Joel and my son,
I always thought
Yep,
I'd keep
that was.
and he was
I
newborn
really
there.
didn't
That was our
expect
like
And the way
pregnancy
you threw
announcement
that
photo.
glue
Yeah,
stick.
my glue stick
There
throw
it
is
is.
like one of my favorite moves I've ever done.
There's
Yeah.
our baby.
So that's
That was
Bowie's
caught on camera.
second cameo in this show because he's also in the last
Okay, so I say
episode.
we tell them
Yeah.
after dinner, before dessert.
That's nepotism.
Yeah, exactly. He's now like got more IMDb credits than like some of my friends who identify as actors. So
So this moment was fun.
Just use this time
In
to
real
get
life,
them
I
meet,
had actually
and
met
then we
Joel's
could email
parents
them
like
link
a
for
couple
that.
of
That works,
times,
right?
but like they didn't quite understand how casual we were. But
This was
Yeah.
one of my favorite scenes to film. Just babbling Bruce on the doorstep. I
no,
loved it.
do you remember us filming this scene?
Oh,
What happened
yeah.
with the construction?
there was construction.
There was heavy construction. We could not hear a
Loud.
thing. We thought we had dubbed the entire scene. And I ran to the construction crew and begged them for 2 minutes of silence. And we shot that. That's why it's only one shot. That's the only 2 minutes of
Yeah.
silence we got.
And they totally obliged.
And there's Trevor.
Hey.
Trevor!
Father and
So-
son wearing Argyle.
Fun,
Oh, yeah.
fun fact, this scene was shot in the room that Joel and I actually had this actual conversation with Joel's parents.
This was like so weirdly meta.
So weirdly meta. And they went for a walk and came back in, and they like walked in while this was filming, and they're like, there's a character named Carol, and like laughing because that's similar to Joel's sister, who's Carolyn. And
Bianca
They were
is
very
joining
cute.
us at 2:10 in the morning because she loves us.
Aw, thank you,
Yay,
Bianca.
Bianca!
Also,
I-
Alex's
You rock.
weird brain. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, there's Trevor. Oh man, I wish I couldn't find your audition tape. I was gonna play it because last
Yeah.
time we had people on the show, we played their audition tapes. But I think it's on a drive to the office. And Jane Hancock was awesome in
She's
this scene.
beautiful.
Both
So
both
good.
Janes were great, and Kashif.
All the Janes.
All these people were invited to be here today, and Trevor was the one who's got nothing going on in his life.
Whatever. That's not. Trevor was the coolest one. He was
There.
there he is.
But yeah, I loved this scene. This was
So
definitely it's the longest scene in the entire series.
It's the scene
The-
with the most cast members.
Most cast members, most cast members is the Van Chan one.
Yeah, okay.
This is
But
the best
Okay.
one with the most cast members.
this is the best one with the most cast members. It was just nice. You guys had it so dialed. You know, we got to rehearse it a bunch, and then it was just boom. We had to you guys probably had to run these lines like 60 times.
Yeah, there was
I
a lot
almost
of
peed
time.
myself like 3 or 4 times when we shot this just from Kashif.
Yeah,
Oh,
He was just nailed
he's
that.
so funny.
and I like how you were kind of like keeping
I mean, well,
not
I mean, it's a
fully
little weird
entertaining
to-
them. I love the choices that each person took because everyone kind of took things a little differently in this scene, and
Why
yeah,
can't you have your wedding
it's
in the summer,
but
like a normal
yeah, when we
person, you know?
did do when the time we did tell my parents about the pregnancy, my sister had made her invitations.
Yeah, this
That
is
was-
pretty
that
much.
was- it's
This,
pretty
this
much-
whole scene is pretty much real. Like Joel's mom really said.
But
You haven't gotten there yet.
yeah, no, we haven't gotten there quite
never
yet. He's
mind.
just
We'll get
I
back-
love
come
that
back to you.
I love that he's clinking with a spoon instead of a fork. It's a detail that very few people notice, but I can see Bruce smiling in his little stream
Bruce
here.
is one of the people that didn't notice he wasn't holding a fork.
That's so true. That's so awesome.
Oh, and I love that little reaction.
You should have seen him trying to eat his salad the whole meal.
Trevor, I remember when you did this in the audition. We were just like, "Yep, that's the guy." Next, like there was.
I think that was the actual take where we spilt wine too.
It could very
Over your
well.
parents' table and floor.
Okay, I've got it.
Don't tell them.
We can throw a wedding next month.
Well, they're not
What?
watching it right now because they're in
No,
Europe,
I mean,
and I don't think they're up at
one
like 2
wedding
a.m.
and a
So
We were gonna call.
Not
him
like, who was it? Bianca.
Bianca's got our back.
yeah.
So Joel's mom really made this comment about getting married. We did not make that up, and I told her for months that this was gonna go in the show, so she knew. She was so nervous what she was gonna watch, and I was like, literally, that's the only thing in there is like this little comment. And she was so cute. Months later, it was like August. We were just about to have the baby. She was doing the dishes in the kitchen, and we were actually living in Joel's parents' house for a few months. It's a whole nother story.
Spoiler,
a whole nother
spoiler
season.
alert.
Later season.
But she was just like, I can't believe I said that. That would have been ridiculous. Can you imagine having 2 weddings and a baby? Yes. That would have been ridiculous. That would have been insane. And plus,
Well, we
Joel and I were
just
never
got an
getting
app
married.
on
That
the-
would have
never
never
happened.
That would have been Inconceivable, the movie.
yeah.
6 seasons in a movie.
6 seasons in a movie.
Yeah, someone said that like this episode alone could be expanded into a movie. It was such a people just really loved this episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, the date of the wedding and the due date was like a week and a half apart,
Here we go.
something
Yeah,
like
2
that.
weeks.
So we
Just
made
2
it the
weeks.
same day for dramatic effect. It is just as scary.
Dad and stepdad in the same room is a Christmas miracle. This feels like coming out all over again. I'm gay. When I came out to my dad, he was choking on his tears, trying not to show his blatant disapproval. I tried to sweeten the blow by taking him to his favorite restaurant, but it just made for an awkward public display.
Oh, please.
Then there was my mom. With her, I got denial.
She's just trying to control you.
I was hiding my girlfriend. I finally wound up telling my mom in therapy because I was so scared she was going to kick me out.
Did they ever get over it?
Kind of. I mean, eventually they agreed to meet my girlfriends, but our relationships are a pretty far cry from perfect.
Okay, we're back. I'm sorry about those audio technical difficulties. We just missed Rachel's cameo. I'm so sorry.
Bruce.
My ears
Sorry,
are
everyone.
Bruce are
I am.
Well, that was a noise. I love it.
What?
Joel's typing, I'm so sorry. We fixed it.
Okay.
Sorry,
No
team.
comma. No comma, by the way. So he's so sorry we fixed it.
Let me pull those batteries right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grammar.
Grammar.
Gets me going.
Punctuation
I
is
love
important.
this scene. It's very like we just decided to make it very Wes Anderson-y out of nowhere. We're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we did nothing else Wes Anderson-y.
Well, it just happened kind of naturally, and then we did adjust one lamp to make it even more Wes Anderson-y, but it was
Yeah.
already happening, and then we were like, yeah.
Are we allowed to swear
Hi,
on
Notch.
this or no?
Oh,
Match.
probably.
I lost my shit when we watched this in the theater, because this was my favorite moment of all time. Just the slow-mo and all those reactions.
Yeah.
Which was like
Perfection.
pretty much all of that was real, except for the fact that my mom and dad would never be in the same room.
Yeah.
Those were 2 separate occurrences.
I was really against us like having 3 different of the same scenes. So
As much as it would have been relatable, I'm sure for a lot of audiences, we didn't have time for that.
yeah, it's this. It's not a movie. It's not 4 Christmases here. It's
Yeah,
Inconceivable.
exactly.
That went well.
So when we watched
Point of no return.
that scene, because of the way we shot the scene,
I know this is gonna
like
sound
we were
really
at one end of the room
But
facing this way, and then the other part of the scene was like at this end of the room facing that way. And the way
Opposite
the way that it's
directions.
edited, like you guys watching at home would never know that we weren't. It wasn't a room that was just like this. But when I watch it, I'm always like, for just a second, I'm like, what am I looking at over there? And then I'm like, oh wait, that's right, that's where everyone is. So like, because I know what the layout of that actual room is, it catches me every time. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's happening?
Because I a lot of the times I'll fake around with geography, but I remember my sister's boyfriend or husband now was telling me like, oh yeah, the only thing I hated about that episode is like clearly everything was shot in the same house and in weird directions. It's like that's only for you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's because he knew that that house. That's just to clarify.
You lived
Sorry.
in that house.
He knows that house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
That's so funny.
it's fun. Sorry about your guys' ears. That was
Sorry, guys.
awful.
Notch thinks it's funny.
Well, so that was the episode 5. We got one more episode coming out soon. But first, we're gonna go ahead and say hi to
Hi, Mother Moth.
Mother Moth is back, and
Mother Moth!
also Gluterman is
saw
back.
Gluterman.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gluterman.
Is Davian here?
I've not seen Davian. I think he's asleep.
Oh, we might
This
have
is his
missed
first
Davian.
time missing a live stream. We love that we have so many people continuing to come back.
Yeah, you guys
Even
are
though
awesome.
some of our technical difficulties. I have a technical difficulties screen I can put on that I didn't put on there, but
Well, you did
for,
panic.
for futures, I'll probably
You're
throw this
fixing
bad
it.
boy on.
Nice.
I haven't made my own yet, so I just stole that from The Simpsons, but that's what we
Illegal.
will do.
You
from
shouldn't have
now
said
on.
anything. No one would have known.
But speaking of Brucifer Wiener Dog, let's go say hi to Bruce.
Yeah, let's
So
patch him
we haven't seen him in any of these live streams. We at one point
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Camilla.
Lisa's the one that wrote that awesome article, by
Oh,
the way.
what? Yeah,
Yeah,
call
that's
me.
right.
Email me. Let's chat this week.
I'm
Totally.
I'm interviewing with Lisa on Tuesday.
Well, apparently I am too.
Okay, Bruce, you can unmute
right.
yourself, and we're gonna join you right in. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Novakowski.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hey guys! Whoa, what's going on? I totally wasn't expecting this. Are you doing like one of those live stream feed things?
Yeah, we love your broken camera where the bottom has that blurry crack.
Yeah, I yanked a cord by accident and it just came down, fell on a weight. There's a crack. I'm getting it fixed.
Who
I'm gonna
knew
do
a
it myself.
5-pound weight could
actually.
do so much damage?
So
It's 15, Trevor.
it's 15. Okay. So Bruce, for those of you who guys don't know, Bruce has worked on
Thanks, Lorenzo.
a lot of the recent projects that we've been doing at This Is a Spoon. Our feature film, Shooting the Musical, which is out next month.
So excited for
So
it.
I'm really hoping that you guys join us to watch that, because that film we're so proud of. And Bruce is the star of that film.
Yeah, he is.
And so when it came to getting this project together, we were so worried about finding the perfect cast for Rita that we were just like, Bruce will do a good enough job. And we hired him as our co-lead. So Bruce, how is this project? First of all, where are you at right now? And second of
I'm
all,
in beautiful. Go ahead.
oh, no, you go ahead. Tell us where you're at.
I am in beautiful TO. Beliefs still suck. Don't worry. I haven't converted. And I'm in my apartment, just hanging out by my lonesome. Hey, Camilla.
Awesome.
Can they see me, by the way, or can they just hear me?
Everyone can see
They
you.
can see and hear you. You are.
You're the big
You're the
cheese.
big screen. You know.
Yeah.
You look like a god among us.
We're all here, but we're like a small
Yeah.
screen.
Here, I'll be sure to keep sitting there because I'm not wearing any pants.
But
So.
likewise,
Just kidding.
Lisa.
Bruce, how is this project different than the other ones we've worked on in the past?
The content. I mean, the content was the biggest one. It was just usually everything I do with Joel and This Is a Spoon is just like pure comedy. You know, high school shooting the musical. It's a dark comedy. So Inconceivable was like it's still there's still the dark comedy, but a lot of drama going on. There were some heavy scenes and. Yeah, I mean, the crew and set. We were on a set with like 30 people. I mean, that was the first. Usually I'm used to like me, Joel on camera holding a boomstick, and then like
We've done definitely some very small shoots in the past. Bruce, are you still there? You look frozen on my end.
You're not looking good.
Close
boy.
your tax windows, Bruce.
It's like the opposite of Katie. Katie's used to work like hundreds of people. And he's like, we normally have 5 people.
Wait,
We're like,
is
we had a whole
Bruce
30
is
people.
struggling to come
Bruce,
back.
are you coming back?
Oh,
Bruce is on dial-up. It's
Okay,
fantastic
yeah.
in
How did
Toronto.
you see my text?
Ayo.
I think
We lost you for a second. Are you back? Can you hear us?
you look so stunned
Yeah,
by
yeah.
his face. I I can't tell if he's like really lagged and we're getting video that happened like 30 seconds ago.
Okay, you are here, Bruce. So yeah, the one thing that was tricky about Bruce was he wasn't
He's not a
living
real
In the
person.
same town.
wasn't in the same town. He had to fly in, and like the moment he got off the plane, me and Katie and Bruce had dinner together, talked about all the scenes,
We did.
and then like the next day it was like bam, 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 and worked you guys both to the bones. We had a very, very tight shooting schedule, unfortunately,
Yes, we did.
but you both
Like
survived.
we can
Blind
hear.
bastard, you
We
wearing
can hear
pants.
ourselves. Rob's obviously watching us.
No, it's too loud in the other room.
You can hear us.
All right, Bruce, I don't think that the Skype is working that well. I think your internet might not be fast enough to handle. Oh, you back?
He's back. Look at
Okay,
him.
it's working. Okay. So,
I'm on Tech Savvy. It's like a local Toronto connection. I mean, they're okay. They're cheap. So.
Apparently,
Anyway.
just okay.
so
They're
Bruce,
cheap, is
what
what-
was your favorite scene to shoot out of this whole episode?
It has to be the dinner scene. I mean, it was so nice for like Katie and I, specifically Katie, to just like hand over the reins and like let other actors just kind of take over and do their thing. And they were so funny. Trev, the two Janes, Kashif, they killed it. It was so funny. Adam and Rita's parents, they were hilarious. So I mean that whole dinner scene was just, and it's such a funny scene. There's so much like tension and weirdness going on. So it has to be that probably.
So, and how have your friends and family been reacting to these episodes coming out? Like, I see that your mom comments on every single one of the videos, but beyond your mom, like, how have your friends reacted? Because
Other than your mom.
I've got a lot of people who have commented to me and saying that like this is some of the best acting you've done to date and stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's the case, but a lot of people seem very optimistic on your performances. Have you been hearing that from other people, or?
Does anyone in Toronto care?
That's funny. I'm not getting that from any of my friends, and they're watching it, and they're like, we love it, just because you're in it. I don't think much about my acting. I think they're trying to keep like my ego down. They're trying to like keep me level-headed, but that's impossible. I'm gonna soar, and I'm flying. No one can keep me down.
Who is this guy?
Right?
I know.
So,
Why doesn't this
I make sure after every be like, thanks, Mom.
yeah, I know. I always get notifications from YouTube that's like Bruce like thanking his mom for commenting. She's very sweet. Diana is a peach.
I know the character.
Yeah. So yeah, people are asking when the next episode's out. It's Wednesday. It's the final episode. Our final live stream is going to be awesome. It's going to be a pajama party.
That'll be next Sunday.
Yeah.
On Mother's Day.
Mother's Day?
And it's also going to have a lot of Mother's Day related shenanigans.
Yeah.
Which I think is appropriate.
Yeah, because this show is all about a mother and the experience of a
guess
mother. And so our show is the most, if you're going to watch anything on Mother's Day, it should be our show.
Yeah, it's like me played by her.
That's what
My mom will watch it, sure. I promise.
And
Everyone's like, who's that guy again?
Can we have a Kickstarter started to get Bruce faster internet?
Yeah, we're gonna start a GoFundMe for Bruce's
$50 a
internet
month.
connection.
Like this Fisher Price, my first internet isn't working for you, buddy.
yeah, it's not the greatest.
Okay,
Bruce,
bye, Bruce.
I think we're gonna let. Well, one more question for Bruce, and then we will go back to our power panel. So Brucey,
Yeah.
what are you working on next? Where can people see more Bruce Novakowski?
Oh man, well I mean there's always Average Dicks, another This Is a Spoon collective classic. You can just YouTube that, Average Dicks the series. Make sure you add series to that search or you're in a world of pain.
A lot of pictures of me.
Things coming up. things coming up. I've just been auditioning a lot lately, but I still gotta book something. I'm in the middle of pitching a show right now called Roomies to CBC, Comedy Network. We just pitched it to Just for Laughs for like a staged reading. It's about 3 actors, of course, written by 3 actors, and we're going for like a Seinfeld, Always Sunny type thing. But I don't want to say too much about it because it's very much up in the air. We're just in pitch mode right now. That's about it.
That's awesome. Well, as are we. We obviously want to continue this show, so we're trying to get some things going there. Maybe we might allude to some things that are in the process later on the show. But Bruce, we're going to let you go for now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, what? Okay, thanks for having
me.
me.
We love you.
Bye,
Guys,
Bruce.
follow Bruce on Twitter, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. He's a peach of an actor. Definitely check out
Peach beard.
Average Dicks, Channel Zero from Sci-Fi. Bruce is in. He's awesome in that show.
Oh, yeah.
And then next month, Shooting the Musical's coming out, starring Bruce. So there's going to be plenty more Bruce to go around. Thank you so much, Bruce.
Thank you.
And have a nice day.
Bye, Bruce. Love you, buddy.
So Gluterman has asked a question, and it seems like some people are responding to that. So how optimistic for season 2 should they be?
Well, I like nothing is for certain right now, and I can't talk about certain specifics, but in a dream world, season 2 might go over a little bit different because we're really trying to shop this show to become something for obviously we keep getting the message that people want our episodes longer. They want it to be a half-hour sitcom. And we've always kind of felt that in the writing room. It was so hard to keep these episodes down to like around 10 minutes ish. And so we really want to expand it. So right now we're just starting our talks, and people are listening, and we got some excitement there. If you have a certain network that you think it should be on or whatever, tweet
them.
Yeah.
Tweedle them. Tweedledee them.
Make the tweets.
It looks bad when we're harassing them, but if you guys harass them,
Totally, yeah.
like in Canada, we got like the CBC could be a possible one if you guys want to tweet them. Netflix Canada, whatever.
I'm gonna try and get us on Pornhub.
Yes.
On Pornhub.
We can have hour-long episodes there.
Yeah.
People are just gonna watch. They're gonna watch like the first minute.
This
and
is
that's
a
it.
moral show, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, depending who you ask.
Well,
Not
You
that-
only ask moral people.
Not that we're trying to say that porn is amoral, because
That's true. That's true.
We're all pro porn here. I think.
people are looking for
Pro-ish.
different kinds of
But this is
LGBT.
Season 2.
I feel like if I was looking for porn and I came across our show, I would be a little upset. I'd be like, this is not what I was looking for.
I'd be like, this will do.
I'm into Argyle.
I'm kidding.
Joel and I have different standards though when it comes to porn.
I'm kidding. Will the last episode be any longer?
To answer your question, Gluterman, how optimistic for season 2 should you be? You should be very optimistic, because no matter what, we want to keep making this show, and it seems that it will eventually happen. Probably. It will very probably, maybe, potentially could happen. Could is another way people say it.
Exactly. It
But
might could
either
happen.
way, we want to make it. So
We're gonna keep making this show.
as long as Katie
regardless.
will work for free, we're good.
She didn't work. Well, I'm just kidding.
I was saying that's the minimum. That's the
kidding, I'm
minimum.
kidding.
If she works for
No,
free,
no.
we're fine.
We'll get everyone to quit the union. No, I'm kidding.
I don't work for free. Just that.
To clarify,
we should be very optimistic about more episodes, whether it is season 3 or almost like repackaging and rebooting in some way.
yeah.
There's gonna be more.
Yeah.
We just need to find.
We're definitely skipping season 2 though, so don't.
Yeah, we're gonna go straight
look
to season
forward.
5.
No season 2.
Season 2 is gonna be a comic.
But definitely follow.
Graphic novel season 2.
Definitely follow Inconceivable on Facebook, because that's probably where the first bit of information, if something does happen, is gonna be.
Yeah.
And
We're
then
just like half winking the whole time. Just case you didn't notice.
And then on next Sunday, hopefully we have more information. Next Sunday, we also might have some merch swag
Maybe.
that people can get, as a last little hurrah. We haven't got it ready yet for any of these streams, but
Probably for the finale, we'll have our stuff together,
Thank
though.
you.
Aw.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, I'm going to read this
Lorenzo.
comment aloud. Just want to let you guys know that you are amazing. You do justice to the LGBT community, and this little gay boy is in love with your show. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Lorenzo.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Lorenzo. That means a
Lorenzo.
lot to us.
And also, one of the people on this stream right now is Lisa Powell from, what's the
Victoria, or she's from Vancouver
no,
Island.
but what's the name of the publication?
Oh, hold on. It's a play on words.
She'll tell us in a minute from now.
The
Fundamentals.
Found it.
From the Fundamentals. She wrote an awesome article. You can find it on our Inconceivable Facebook page. It's
Lots of spoilers, so watch the show.
yeah,
first.
watch the show
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
But
It's great.
it's been really good, and it's definitely a balancing act because we're telling a true story, but I think a lot of people, there's a lot of people want it to be certain ways or whatever, and we're really
I
trying
think
to.
I think part of the not the problem, but part of the like stress of our show is that people kind of assume that it has a heteronormative narrative, and that's a fair assumption because I've seen Chasing Amy. I've personally seen all these shows and things that do have this heteronormative, like, oh well, she went with a guy, got a D, and now she's like happy as can be. Whereas like that's not at all the narrative we want to at all. We want to tell our story, and our story is quite specific, and it's not there to offend anyone necessarily, unless you're really religious and you have bigoted views. Then we intentionally want.
Or
to
if you
offend
don't like watching well-produced web series, you're like, what is this 4K
Yeah.
nonsense?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, each episode comes out in 4K.
But that's not at all our intention. Our intention is to tell a particular story, and it especially appeals to millennials, where a lot of people don't like to identify, or it's just fluid, and that's what our entire generation is.
Yeah,
saying.
I think I saw a thing where it's
Sexuality.
like the millennial generation, it's almost like 1 in 5 people don't identify as straight, which is interesting. I don't know. That was just the header on the article. I did not read the article. So
That was probably all you need.
Also a mark of millennialism.
yeah. It
I
was,
did not read the
it
article,
wasn't
but the
BuzzFeed.
heading said.
I would argue it's more. Maybe it's just the circles I run in, but I would still argue it's more.
If it's not list journalism or listicles is the proper term.
If you're not telling me in memes, I just don't care.
Yeah. But yeah. So next episode is a different duck. I'm excited for it. I think a lot of people were really happy with the ending, but I think a lot of people who've seen it are also like, why isn't there more? It's we got funding to shoot these like 6 episodes, and I think we definitely leave people wanting something more.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the goal.
Yeah, we wrap the show up in such a way that there is a fairly distinct end to our season, I would say. But it's not an end where you're like, oh, well, that's over and done with. It's an end where you're like,
Oh,
and
shit.
then what? And then what do they do?
True.
Thank you, Angelica. Oh no,
Angelica
it was
Kiro!
not right the first time.
That's my little cousin! Angel!
Oh, yay.
She binged the show and liked it. And Glitterman repping Gen Z. You know what? Actually, we've got a lot of people from Gen Z that watch this.
What is Gen Z?
That's after us.
Gen Z is the one.
Oh, below.
Yeah.
How old are you?
And I'm
Glitterman?
technically.
I never even thought of that.
I can't remember. I'm like at the very like oldest top end of the millennial spectrum, if I'm even in
You
it.
might be Gen
You're
X.
you're technically in it, I
I
think.
thought you were Gen X.
Are you
I
Gen X?
think the cutoff is like 83 or 84, and I'm 85. I think.
Millennials.
So
What in the blue hell am I?
so
Are you not a baby boomer?
so I guess question to you two. What were the dinosaurs like?
Did you have water back then?
Enough about your sex life.
Waka waka waka.
Di-
Dinosaurs.
See, Joel's got these T-Rex arms. He just can't reach.
Oh, it's getting out of control.
Yeah.
And Rachel and I are the only ones drinking beer today.
Yeah, I know. You'd think all 4 of us.
No.
There was
Trevor
a
and I are being
question.
super healthy right now.
There was a question at the beginning I thought may be interesting too.
Oh, yes.
We're the grumpiest
the
people in the
homophobe
world.
question.
Yeah,
healthy.
let me scroll up to that first question here.
Oh yeah, let's bring it back. Okay.
So the question comes from XXX underscore
Crinix?
underscore XXX. Serious question. How do you get the courage to push against gay and transgender haters? My uncles are gay, and it amazes me how they can get through it all. I am personally not gay, but could you explain it? Please respond. And so here we are responding.
Hopefully they're still watching.
I think
You're
that's
still here.
one thing that's been really cool because I've been a part of making a number of LGBTQ content shows, whether it's like Why Does God Hate Me, Fathers and Son, or this one. There is always like awful haters on the internet that are the worst, but what is more overpowering in those situations are the people who have the backs of the LGBT people, and I think that there is just a camaraderie there that is I see it. It's a microcosm on the comments or what have you, but I think overall anyone who stands in the way of human rights and civil liberties always ends up looking bad as the history books roll out, and we all just progress to be more accepting as time goes on. And I think obviously transgender people are still have there's so much more societal acceptance that needs to happen in at least in like middle America and stuff like that.
Well, in a lot of places too. It's not just the Americas, but and like on a more personal note, I would just say that like it really starts with each individual person. So what can be worse than somebody bullying or like hating or making rude or derogatory comments is the silence that follows. The people that just don't want to get involved. And it's uncomfortable to put yourself out there, but it's so important for people who aren't necessarily gay or trans to be allies and step up and say like that's not okay. What you're doing is not okay. What you're saying is not okay. Go check yourself.
Yeah, I think so. The question is specifically addressing how do you address homophobes and like what can we just keep it up there? So So for me personally, I grew up in a world that is extremely, extremely religious. So I have faced an insane amount of adversity for coming out, and from anything from well, God can cure you, or you just need to meet the right man, or like all these like really cliche things. I think the first thing, first of all, to be able to have any sensibility to stand up to anyone is you have to be able to have enough self-confidence, I guess, and self-knowledge of your stance, honestly, and who you really are. And then once you get to that place of I'm just who I am, then you stop caring, basically. It doesn't change how much any of the homophobic people or bigoted people, any of their responses, it doesn't change how much any of that hurts, but it allows you to be able to articulate yourself in a way that you don't have to necessarily engage in a fight, but you're able to have a conversation that can hopefully open someone's mind. But at the same time, it's not necessarily someone's job to do that. And at the same time, anyone who is bigoted or has these perspectives, like personally, I used to be a homophobe. I used to think being gay was actually wrong. I was taught that. I believed that. I had friends who came out. I said all of those things as well. And it was a process that took me years to be able to get to the point where it was like from, okay, no, this is sin, to like, oh, no, you can fuck whoever you want. It doesn't matter what their parts look like. And then to get to there, it took me years to get there. So for me to meet someone on the street, have them be slightly homophobic towards me, and me to assume in 10 minutes they're going to get the education that I got in 2 years is kind of unfair. So in a way, you have to treat someone who is a homophobe as like they're unconscious in their beliefs, and that's okay. And that's going to take them their own time and their own journey to be able to get to the point where they can be able to. You just have to be okay with it. And the reality is too, is if you're closeted or in a place where you are around a lot of people who are homophobic towards you, sometimes it is better to stay in the closet. Sometimes it is better to not say anything. If there's like violence or any other possibilities, that is always up to the person and whatever circles they run in
Yeah.
and whatever ability they have to be able to be themselves. And that's just a testament to the society. But for me personally, once I stopped giving a shit, everything got better. You just don't care what they think. If someone's a homophobe, then you're like, I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
If that's your family, then that's a really, really, really hard thing to deal with. But it's very freeing. So that would sort of be my comment to that question. It's a hard question, but Trevor has something to say also.
Ooh,
Yes, Trevor.
for my generation, Mr. Carter. So here's what I want to add. I'm an old guy, older-ish, white-haired, Santa. From my generation, and the way that I was raised in the prairies, we didn't talk about stuff. And it took really good friends to make me understand that people can be different. And it doesn't change who they are. You could be friends with somebody for years, and they could come out as gay or lesbian or what have you, and it doesn't change the fact that you've been friends for 10 years. The only thing that's really going to happen is your reaction to it. And if you want to be, like Joel said, like on the wrong side of history and be hateful with it, then, that's your choice. But I think we all can agree that that's not the right choice. The right choice is to kind of move forward in life. Like, a lot of older people get grizzled and angry and bitter because through their lives they lose the people that they looked up to, and sometimes they find out that those people they looked up to didn't really represent the right stuff. And I know through my life, the past many years, I've been losing all these actors that I used to love and look up to and idolize. And I told a friend of mine once that you're going to lose your heroes, but that just means you get the chance to become someone else's hero. So, critics was their name, right?
I think so.
All you have to do with dealing with people is to have the courage of it. It all starts with you, of course, but just stop somebody who's being hateful and just say, "Hey, you're an idiot." It's 2017. It's not 1952.
That may not be the best approach every time.
You know what? You
Especially
should
want to
probably
gauge the situation.
box with them. Get them in a ring.
But definitely start by just speaking your mind, because odds are when you pipe up and say what you're doing is unacceptable and it's wrong, odds are there's like probably 3 or 4 or 5 or if you're on the internet 2,500,000 more people who weren't saying anything because they didn't have the courage to be the first one to say it. So yeah, be that first guy to stand up and be like, don't do that.
Yeah, and I think right now there's a lot of I don't know the specifics. I knew we were going to go down this road, I would have researched better. But obviously, if you guys haven't been following what's been happening in Chechnya right now, it's been, and in Russia, it's been some of the most horrible
That's a
homophobic things that are happening, and in laws and prosecutions. And so if you guys want to be part of the solution, there's some charities that are trying to do things to combat that, to help give people asylum, help them escape. Obviously, there's a lot of countries that are that kind of come in kind of like Saudi Arabia and stuff like that, where they've got some rather archaic ways they look at homosexuality. We have to all change, and if you can find any ways to support those people who are living in places where they can't live free to be themselves, those are the people who need support the most. So if you have money to donate, there's a lot of charities that I don't have off the top of my hand that are trying to do everything they can to get people out of there and get them safe. But
that is something that we can definitely post on the Inconceivable Facebook page later.
Yeah, and I will post on this. I will find some. But I just was starting to read up about it, and I was shocked that terrible things happened in 2017. But a lot of good things are happening.
But keeping in mind, too, is that, obviously horrible things happen in other countries, but at the same time, there's a lot of people in this country and multiple places who are in more religious circles or are in places where they're taught that, being trans is an abomination or being gay is an abomination. And, those people are the reason that if anyone does say something homophobic, it's worth bringing up. And not necessarily saying like, oh, you suck or whatever, but being like, why do you think that? Or like, what brought you to that conclusion? Or like, why is someone else different than you? Like having actual educated, articulate conversations where you're not having a reaction to someone is what I think has the ability to change the world, because that's where learning happens.
People
right?
respond a lot better to being asked a question than they do to being told that they're wrong. So
Exactly, and no one theoretically, no one is wrong because they actually have those beliefs.
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily be like, oh, you suck, you have those beliefs. Well, they actually have them. So
it's more about finding a way for people to hold on to their beliefs and not feel required to impose those beliefs on other people or make comments or make other people feel bad for their own lives and their own beliefs. So.
exactly.
Glitterman, glad to hear you got temporarily out of chores.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions also or comments or things to contribute to this discussion, this is like it's
Yeah.
a live stream, so we'd love to be able
We're
to
pretty
keep
open
it
up
going.
here.
Yeah.
You guys are just as much a part of it as we are. So, Trevor,
Yes, sir.
you've been acting in a lot of stuff lately. I saw you in Dirk Gently, which is on Netflix. In the first episode, you play a pretty awful human being.
He starts off okay enough, but then there's a twist, and well, screw it. Let's just say it. He gets the shit kicked out of him by an amazing woman, very quickly, mind you, which is even better.
It was cool because I didn't know you were in it, so I always love that when I don't know someone's in it. But you've got a new show that you've started to work on, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
What are you allowed
Well,
to talk about?
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you two things.
Okay.
The first thing is actually a show that I filmed a few months ago for ABC. It's a pilot called The Trustee. And I got to act with my first trans actress, with Laverne Cox.
No.
You
She's
acted with
so
Laverne
cool.
Cox?
Laverne Cox and
He's just like,
and my ginger hero Michael Cutlets from The Walking Dead.
Oh.
Which was crazy surreal.
That must
But
have been a dope day.
here's the thing. Laverne Cox is very, very beautiful. And what I didn't know, and what no one really knows, is that she sings like an angel. She sang opera for us the entire week we were there.
What?
And it was
Oh my
and
gosh,
not just like
shivers.
I'm gonna sing some opera for fun. She sang it well.
Damn.
Like holy crap, goosebumps.
What?
Amazing.
That's so cool.
And the best thing about that is actually the show was produced by Elizabeth Banks. So technically, I'm working for Rita Repulsa. The Power Rangers. So that was.
You just got to meet all the people.
Oh, it gets better.
Oh!
So the new show. Here's the thing. I was in a rut for months before Inconceivable came about. And I talked to Joel online, asking him to come over to watch wrestling of all things, and just mention, hey, how's your casting going? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's great. We got like so many people are coming on. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to slap my agent. Not really, of course. But because they didn't submit me in for it. And he's like, well, you want to get in here? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, can you be here in an hour? I'm like, yes, I can.
Right.
And it worked. But it kicked off this a booking of some really great stuff. So I have to thank you guys for this, because you actually gave me courage to go back in the audition room and actually take some chances, which just worked out. So the new thing
awesome.
is that there's the guys who do Van Helsing.
Is this the Laverne Cox thing?
No, this is a new one.
Okay, wait, what's the Laverne Cox thing? So people,
yeah.
The Trustee
we're
on
all like,
ABC.
what?
The Trustee on
Yeah.
ABC.
You can look
Watch it.
on
Yeah,
IMDb and you can
right
see the
now.
huge cast that's in it. It looks fantastic. It's basically what it is basically is it's a female-led cop comedy, and Laverne Cox plays an ex-con, which almost links in with Orange Is the New Black, which is weird. But she works in a police station as a trustee and kind of helps things out, like almost like Beverly Hills Cop style when you think about it.
Nice.
And it's great. It's an hour-long show.
And that comes out in the fall, is that
Well,
premiering?
it's a pilot right now, so it hasn't been officially picked up
Okay.
yet, but we're feeling pretty confident that we're going to be working in the fall on it. And I play a guy named Pat O'Brien, who is the partner of a guy who is basically, in his life, his real life, he was on the path to being an Olympic athlete. And so he's in shape. I am not. And we spent an entire day, we were chasing perps the entire day. And so he took off in a jog, so to speak, and just was gone. And then you see the camera, you'll see me just giving her just to keep up with him. And it was quite the fun day. It was good times. I think I threatened him, though, with my speed, because a couple of takes, he actually did a push-off just to get ahead of me, which is fun. So that's going to be hopefully coming up in the fall. We'll knock on wood. for that one. So the new thing that we're going to talk about, the guys who make Van Helsing came up with a new show called Ghost Wars. And Sci-Fi liked it so much they actually picked it up before they filmed the pilot.
Yeah.
So we're filming it right now. That's why I'm wearing a toque, because I have really bushy hair.
Well, let's see a preview for the
Come
audience.
Oh, it's like, well, you really can't get a really good feeling of it. But
It's a bit matted from the hat now, but
it
I
was.
like it.
It's
I
very
like it.
it's very bozo sideshow Bobby of it. But I have to go back and do some green screen stuff in like 10 days, so I can't cut or do anything to my hair. So hey, but that one, I'm not going to say much about it, other than the fact that what's been released online already. But Vincent D'Onofrio is in it. Kim Coates, who's from my hometown of Saskatoon, we both went to the same school, right on. Meatloaf.
What? Wait, did you get to meet Meatloaf?
Here's the sad part.
No.
That's all
My
right.
days and Meatloaf's days didn't coincide, which made me really sad because
I worked with Meatloaf.
Wait, you whoa. Okay, finish your bit.
He
but
also sang opera the whole time we were
wait,
trying
what did
to
you work on Meatloaf with?
We'll get to it. Keep going, Trev.
well, here's the thing. Meatloaf and my acting professor from college were both in a Rocky Horror Picture Show together. What? And I saw Meatloaf in a concert in the late 80s before most of you kids were born. And it was raining all day. Just pouring raining. And it was shitty. It was horrible, but we had a great time. It was a great outdoor concert. Cheap Trick was playing all these great bands from the 80s. And then Meatloaf came out on stage and looked up at the sky and went, "What the hell?" And the rain stopped. I crap you not.
Who?
And an audience
Meatloaf.
of people who were drinking all day, and among other things I imagine, but they all went, "What the heck is going on?" And it's the most amazing concert ever happened. And I've always wanted to tell him that story personally, and also thank him for getting me quite a few girlfriends in college with his music.
Oh yeah, Bat Out of Hell is like the best album still.
Oh, it's makeup music. It's perfect.
Right?
You know, you can negotiate. and
I
stuff.
would do anything for love.
Did you? There's an article. I'm not sure if it's real because it may. I
What
just
is
read
that?
It. The thing that he wouldn't do. He actually came. Apparently,
He
came out
finally
and said
what it was?
Yes. And apparently, from what I've read, could be false, but allegedly,
internet.
what he wouldn't do was a strap-on.
He?
That's okay.
He wouldn't
To a girl or
put
guy?
one on, or he wouldn't take one.
Probably wouldn't take one at the time, but I don't know.
At the time,
I'll
he
have to
may
read
have
the
changed
article.
his mind since.
Yeah,
then.
I got a lot of questions. There's just nuance.
Secondly, when did you work with Meatloaf?
Okay, I worked with Meatloaf.
Oh, wait, for our Gen Zers. Meatloaf,
I don't know who
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf is. I'm the only.
Fight Club.
I don't know who
Bitch
that is.
Tits Bob.
either.
Okay,
See Fight Club.
if you've seen Fight Club, if you're millennial and you've seen Fight Club, you know Bitch Tits Bob. If you have parents that raised you on classic rock, you might know
Meatloaf
as Bat Out of Hell. What's the Paradise by the Dashboard Lights? Just
If you're any age and you've done Halloween right, then Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes.
He's
Oh,
like
I know
very
that.
briefly in it
he's
as
in
Eddie.
Motorcycle.
Eddie,
yeah.
the rock
the Ham.
star Frozen ex-lover.
But yeah. Anyways, Meatloaf is, and he also got like, he was the most in the Pick of Destiny, Tenacious D. He's in the opening scene.
Oh, no.
Made more money than every single other person that worked on that movie. And the movie ended up making less money than what they paid Meatloaf in the end. And he's only in the opening scene.
No.
Sad.
Story.
Vidzer is back. The person, I believe it was you who coined the term Spooniverse. And I'm doing
Who's
well.
Vidzer?
The coiner of Spooniverse,
Whatever, okay.
apparently.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
we have a couple
Yeah,
of
we have-
sort of
yeah.
serious things
Yeah.
here. Okay,
Okay.
one thing that I just want to ask about. So I'm Ace, Pan, Aerospec. I know what Ace and Pan are, and I don't know what Aerospec is.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm assuming that they're also aspects of like gender or sexuality.
Yeah, Glitter. It'd be lovely to.
But I'd love to know what those things are.
Delve
Totally.
into that.
Color me ignorant.
Alex's weird brain asked, "How would you respond if your dad shoved you into the closet at his house to keep your grandparents comfortable?" Okay, first of all, we're assuming you mean a metaphorical closet, not a real closet. Maybe you wanna like add some more comments to what the actual specific situation was. But I think one of the things our generation is facing is that all of these issues, like moving towards a more monosexual, unisexual society, pansexual, whatever it is, where we're all kind of like, whatever, parts don't matter. Seems to be a generational thing. It seems more to be like each generation you go up, the more bigoted or whatever, rigid they are in their thinking. So I know for, like, Joel and I have come across this a little bit. I don't know if it's okay for us to talk about this, but, like, when we first did our pitch video, it's like, it came out of the closet, I normally date girls, like, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, we got some flack from his grandparents being like, you probably shouldn't say lesbian on television or on the pitch or
the
anything.
fact that you mentioned your sexuality on the internet, I think, was
like,
troubling to my grandma.
why would you do that?
Okay.
Which, if you grew up in the same world our parents did, or our grandparents did, I think that would be a very fair conversation to be having, and it really is evident of the times that we're living in, and that's, I think, why our show is going to eventually be popular. I really do, and I think that's why. It's because it's a generational show. It's not a sexuality show as much as it is a millennial show.
Yeah, and I think that also it's kind of our jobs as the children of our parents to almost educate them on how the world is changing, and just seeing how much more progressive my parents have gotten over the years, your parents have gotten over the years.
They're forced to. If they love us and we no longer care what they think, they're forced to continue to love us as we are.
There's also something to be said for trying to be a little bit gentle in this. If you want to change, what's that old adage?
Catch more flies with honey.
With honey than vinegar, right?
Right.
Yeah. So if you really want to change someone's mind and they have real concerns that your beliefs are conflicting with theirs, it's good to take a moment and take a breath and try and come at it from an angle that's going to lead to success in someone changing their mind or someone becoming more open-minded, right? If you're just hammering at someone all the time, it's not as easy for them to take a step back outside of their own views when they're trying to, like, bear down and save their ideals.
And speaking of educating the older generation, Glitterman says he's
He or she.
Ooh, yeah.
I
them.
can't tell.
Sorry,
A romantic, okay.
is
Cool.
I'm ace, pan, arrow, spec. So what is ace?
Okay, so ace is asexual.
Okay.
So it means that they don't have a sexual preference for anybody, really. And I think, and I could be wrong, but my understanding of it is that they typically ace means, like, they don't enjoy sexual contact that involves another person.
Okay.
And
then-
I might be wrong on that.
And
That
then
was my understanding.
Pan is
Asexual.
pansexual, which means that you are attracted to anyone regardless of their gender.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's
then-
different. That difference than bisexual, because bi is two particular genders. Pan is like any gender.
Transgender, non-binary, etc. And then aerospec has now been
Aromantic. So also, so ace.
Not wanting to be romantic.
So there's lots of asexual people who want to be in romantic relationships, but they don't want to be having sex.
Yeah.
So they still want to have a romantic relationship, maybe a partner that they come home to, everyone has dinner, you still sit on the couch and Netflix binge and cuddle and sleep together in the same bed, but you aren't necessarily having actual sex.
and then spec is
Trevor is.
and then spec is spectrum because I don't know where. Does that mean like just any just not knowing
Sounds
where
like
on the
this
spectrum?
is poly, kind of, without the sex.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's interesting because we there's a lot of obviously
like it.
new
Okay.
now that
Yeah,
people
very
are
cool.
way more open about talking about sexuality and gender, etc. We're all learning more and
Yeah.
Totally.
And there's lots of new terms and things that are popping up all the time. The language is changing, and
Yeah,
that's
like demisexual.
yeah, and which is awesome.
Here's the thing. I love that. Because it kind of allows people to understand the fact that, I'm back in the day, you were either gay or straight, right? One or the other. And people that were gay but also like were bi or people that were ace or allo or spec. The fact that they didn't associate with one or the other, they felt lost. And now it's like literally there's this rainbow of sexual orientations, which I love that you can be a violet, you can be an orange, you can be a yellow. Why the hell don't we color code it? That'd be hilarious.
I love that.
I love it. I'm plaid.
Some people are just rainbows.
I'm more
All the
Argyle.
things. Argyle.
A couple
Sky
of things.
blue.
Houndstooth.
As going back to Alex's weird brain, basically she says, "My dad won't let me tell my grandparents that I'm pan because he said, and I quote, I'll let them stay in their bubble and be happy." That's
That's upsetting.
hard.
But
It's hard.
I can relate to this. So this same thing basically happened to my brother, who's out now, and when he was in high school and first came out, my dad's parents, who were quite a bit older than my mom's parents, by about 20 years, I think, they were very Protestant, quite religious, and as they got older, they got more, like you were describing, more rigid in their beliefs and more extreme in their faith, and basically that was a decision that like my dad and my brother, they came to it, I think, a bit more. I think it was like more my brother's idea than being told not to come out to them. But I think, in talking about it, they were like, it's not really, they're not going to be happy for me. I'm not going to be happy that they're unhappy, and like, and so the decision was made not to come out to my grandparents. However, my mom's parents, rather, my grandparents on my other side, like, love my brother's husband and could not care less that they're gay, and yeah.
So then, okay, so I have a question then. So what about a family event? What happens when your brother goes to an event with your grandma? Does he's a husband?
So
right?
he has a husband now. So
does he come?
I unfortunately don't know how that would have played out. My dad's parents both passed before my brother was married. So that was another part of it, right? Is they were quite old and not in great health when my brother first came out, and it was not super long after that they both passed away. So it was so yeah, it's not the nicest position to be in, to feel like you have to hide part of yourself or lie to your family. And I guess I would just say, take a little bit of time and really think about it from your dad's point of view and from your grandparents' point of view, and that might help you to feel a little less crappy about it, because it's not a great feeling, and I get that. And I'm not saying that that's always the answer, but I'm saying that sometimes it can be, and you shouldn't feel bad or ashamed that you're making a choice like that to help protect other people's feelings. Sometimes it's
It really is a personal choice.
Yeah.
It really is up to you.
And it's like Rachel was saying about, and I know it's a little bit different, but sometimes the safest thing for someone to do is to stay in the closet. And that doesn't mean forever. That means that, like, maybe right now, if you
don't live alone,
if you don't live alone, if you're
get kicked out,
if you're in an environment where it would be unsafe for you to come out, then, like, maybe that's something that you do have to put off for a little while.
Yeah. And to Alex's weird brain, you said basically your dad like won't let you tell your grandparents that you're pan. Well, is there like, from your grandparents' perspective, they might have no reference for that. They have no idea that this is where our generation is going. No
Peter
idea.
Pan,
Like,
I know Pan.
yeah, Peter Pan.
Concept for some of the older
Exactly.
people.
So like, you might even say them, and they might just be like, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna go have a coffee now." Like, like, it might just not register. Whereas, maybe if you had a girlfriend or boyfriend, that would be the conversation you're having. Like, "Hi, this is my partner." That would be like a specific conversation to have with them,
Yes. Yeah.
I really like how Allison's mom dealt with it. She said, "My mother told my grandparents, who are priests, that I am gay as fuck, because she cares more about my comfort than theirs."
That's awesome. You have parents that are on your behalf.
That's a
like,
great story. We
Allison,
love that.
your parents are awesome.
Yeah.
Tell them to watch this show.
Yeah.
And Davian
Tune in with your
decided-
mom on
Davian,
Mother's
we
Day.
mentioned you earlier.
Davian's
Did you just get here?
Hi, Davian.
We talked about you. You have to go back and watch later.
We thought Davian had been at every stream but this one, but now he is
All the
officially
streams.
he's in the streams. And I think Gluterman has been. What's the moth?
Mother Moth?
Mother Moth has been in a lot of these. Allison, you've been in a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
You guys are awesome. And some of you guys were even when we did our Canada Film Day stream were there.
Yeah, that's true. I have a question for Allison. Are both your grandparents priests? Like, that alone is fairly controversial. Like,
Yeah. I
have so many questions. You're gonna call me.
Well, if they're druid priests, they're fine.
It depends. There's so many.
It's a Stonehenge thing. Yeah.
Well, she'll see that in 45 seconds.
One thing, Alex's weird brain, for me anyways, and I'm pretty sure you guys as well. We think you're pretty awesome. You know, so have courage to be yourself where you can. And if
You can be whoever you want to be with
If
us.
you want to piss your grandparents off, do it. Like,
unless they're in bad health, like if they're in really poor health, unless they're rich,
Unless
if you get an inheritance,
no, that is a terrible motivation for anything.
Allison.
Likewise, Bennett. Me too.
Allison missed one because she was in the ER. Apparently, her health is more important than our live streams.
Whoa.
they've got internet in
It
the ER.
certainly is.
Also, Allison, your mom rocks, and you should probably hug her.
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially
Allison,
Mother's Day.
hug your. Yeah, it's Mother's Day next week,
Mom,
which
you're
is
really progressive.
when we're
Bennett!
doing our final one. So,
Bennett, we're really excited to have you be part of this community.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
They're Anglican.
See, like, from my world, that
Wait.
alone is so progressive.
That's
That's
really
crazy.
exciting.
I didn't. Okay, this is forgive my ignorance. Women can be Anglican priests. That's a
There's
thing.
There's Orthodox traditions where they can. It's all
There's a
different.
spectrum.
There's
Religion
Yeah.
has
Where I
has
grew up,
spectrums too. Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah, because one thing because I grew up in the church as well, and one thing that really bothered me was how like women are like in religion like second class citizens. It's terrible.
Totally.
Like, oh, one day you'll be a pastor's wife. Like is like the
highest
highest you can
achievement you
achieve.
could have.
And so that always kind of.
Can I make a comment to that?
Yeah.
There's a really fantastic hashtag going around. It's written by a blogger called Sarah Bessie. She lives in Abbotsford. This is crazy that I'm plugging this. She's quite religious, makes some really great comments about religion. I love it. I don't read any religious content pretty much except for her blog. And it's awesome, and it's a hashtag, and it's things only Christian women hear. And last week I went through that hashtag, and it was so relatable and so great. It was just like, yeah, exactly that. Like, oh, you'll be a pastor's wife, or like, you're not preaching, you're talking, you're doing a talk, like those kinds of things. It's just
Awesome. And then thank you, Randy, Gluter, and Scotty for loving this show and joining us on this stream. If you came in late, Scotty, what we do usually is we do a commentary track on the new thing. We do. Oh shoot! I have a clip I want to show.
what clip?
Oh, it's
Running out of time, man.
Okay, I want to show a clip, and then we're gonna come back and kind of close things out.
What
So if you
clip?
have questions, it's an outtake from when we were doing this episode.
Oh no.
It's funny. It's awesome. I'll set it up. Okay, it was.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Is it me in the car?
Have I seen this? I don't think I've
I don't
seen
know
this.
if you have. But it was at the very end of a very long
Lisa.
day.
Very long
And
day.
it was very cold outside, and I was like sitting next to the monitor watching, eating a pizza, while these guys are like freezing in this car.
We were having this like really intense conversation in the car, and
Then I threw a bunch of new lines at you.
I had all this voiceover stuff, and usually when you're filming and you have like a whole bunch of voiceover, those aren't lines you have for the day. That's stuff that you record later in post-production with like the lines in front of you, and you get to just like record them. And like Bruce and I were running the scene, sitting on the steps next to Joel, running the scene. He saw us running the scene. The second we get in the car, like ready to shoot, Joel's like, "Oh yeah, I want you to just say all those voiceover lines too." And I'm like, "Did Did you just give me like a monologue to memorize in 5 seconds while we slate?
Pretty much. It was
And he's like, yeah, I did. And then he turns and he's like right in front of the windshield. So Bruce and I are like this, freezing our butts off in the car. Through the windshield, we see Joel standing in the garage like this, just like eating pizza, like just stuffing his face with pizza.
But you were next to me.
Why don't I?
And I had headphones on so I could hear you guys in the car. And so this is the
I was
brief
listening.
moment while
I was
we were
listening. Oh, fun.
This is the brief moment while we were waiting in between her line as we waited for a plane to go by. And you can barely even hear the plane in the clip, but our sound guy is very diligent.
Yeah.
And I just
Rob Fanu? Or
no, Alex Shamku. So I just wanted to show you guys this because I think it's really funny. And you guys deserve to see some funny stuff. And it was a very end of a very long day, and it's
Yes, ducking. I ducking love you too, Randy.
okay. Here we go.
But our relationships are a pretty far cry from perfect.
I'm sorry.
Fuck, I forgot my real line.
You want me to hold this up?
Yeah,
Can you feed
just
it?
hold them there. And now,
Okay, we have
fuck
a
yeah.
plan.
Excellent.
Katie, I need you to cheat yourself even more.
Okay, this doesn't look super weird?
No, it's fine. Like, I can see your eyes now.
Just wait on that plane, Joel.
I'm sorry. Am I boring you?
You're doing great. You're killing it.
Do you like my monologue? Just learned it. Thanks, Joel. I also love that they're just standing in front of us eating pizza like a bunch of dickheads.
Toasty.
Average dickheads.
Couple average
Just a bunch of average dickheads. Basic.
basic.
That's like the boy version of basic bitch. Average dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
How are we on that plane?
Still planey. Give
Really?
us about 12 seconds.
Cool. Once we start again, are we going from the top? At this new fun angle I've discovered?
Okay.
Not approve of this.
Sorry.
Oh my god, that
It's
was
just like
wonderful.
a funny little moment.
That is why we love Katie Stuart.
So that's what it's like to work with me.
No, it was that was the day we shot all of this stuff.
It was a long day.
It was
You can tell by how like ridiculously like I talk a lot and I don't hear myself talking when I'm really tired. I just get on auto talk. Away I go.
I love it how people are posting their Twitter accounts. We'll definitely follow you guys on Inconceivable.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us how we can interact with you guys. You know, we're building a community, and
Heck yes.
when this show gets picked up for TV, you guys can be like, I knew those guys when they had those live streams that like 10 people
And we will
were on."
vouch for you.
And we're like, hey,
Davian?
Allison, Davian, Gluterman, Mother Moth, Randy, you guys were all there. Bianca, why not?
I don't think any.
Allison
I've never
will
been to
hug
Italy.
her mother. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, I think
Bev is amazing.
yeah, so Allison, whose mom was the one who
She sounds rad.
told her grandparents she's gay as fuck, is gonna go hug her mom.
Yeah.
That is confirmed.
Hug her from all of us.
Yeah, we.
Dabian, I knew I was gay when I was 14, but didn't come out until 24.
That's
Never
a
been
long
happier
time.
and more myself. Plus, your mom and brother support 100%. That's rad.
That's
and I'm
awesome.
so glad that you're out and happy, man.
Yeah, you know, it's,
I have never been to Italy.
I've also never been to Italy.
I have not been to Italy as well.
Trevor?
I've had ravioli
Ooh, me too.
out of a can.
Okay, but also
I've had real ravioli.
Rita we named the character Rita because very last minute Joel and I were like, oh shoot, we're gonna pitch this for a thing to get some funding, and we were like, we need names. So we came up with the name Rita and Josh because I'm Rachel and Joel. We were just picked like quickly as fast as we could, thinking of something that started with R and J. But then we realized that Joel already had Bruce's character from before, and he's
'cause
Adam Baxter.
Bruce had been playing me and shooting the musical already as Adam Baxter, and
So we kept him, but kept Rita at R. It has nothing to do with Italy, but I'm glad to know that's a cute Italian name.
Yeah.
So maybe we should make your character Italian or
I only know it from the Beatles song.
Allison, we will try to
Beatles
bring you
song?
guys all in
For cameo.
for the cameo.
Oh, for cameos,
Out
yeah.
of curiosity, just for fun, since we're already talking to you guys, where are you guys all from? Where are you guys all watching
Yeah,
from?
where are you from?
And what time is it?
And what time
Where
is
are
it?
you from? What time is it? Also, Glitterman, you never told us how old you were. Not that it matters. Fine.
Well, we're gonna
We'll
follow
follow
him
you.
on Instagram.
I'm pretty. Okay. Also, you can follow me at Rogue Hannah.
Yeah, I think we've got all of our handles below our names. No, it's right
I
below
don't
our
see
names.
it.
It's right below you.
Not me. Oh,
Yes,
it
it
is
is.
tiny.
It's tiny, but it's there.
Yeah.
So
I see it. I saw it.
you guys can follow us on those things. I think my Instagram has no underscore in it. My Twitter has the underscore.
I can't
You
believe we
got
did this
yours
whole
all.
episode.
I got my ducks in a row and I made mine all the same.
My ducks could not be made in a row because some jackass named Joel McCarthy beat me to it on Twitter.
Yeah, that's why I put mine as Katie Van Stewart, because there were a lot of Katie Stewarts out there.
She really likes Vans.
And I love Vans.
Okay,
Like
so
windowless
I
ones
guess
and
people
the
are
shoes.
telling us where they're from. Alex is from
Alex's
hell.
weird brain is from
and
hell.
it's 6:20.
I will definitely be going to hell, so I'll meet you there.
Is that AM or PM? Halifax.
Woo!
Whoa.
Yeah,
I
Halifax!
used to buy the
Definitely
Bilderboard.
AM and PM peoples.
Victoria, 620.
That's right now, still for us too, right?
Edmonton 7:20. Glutterman from Auburn, Alabama. I did
oh my
not know
gosh!
that.
Yeah, tell us what it's like to come out there. Are people friendly there? Are people nice?
I've heard people in Alabama are extremely friendly.
Yeah, I just heard Alabama,
Holy
Arkansas.
Bianca,
I
you
do
crazy
love my
person.
mom.
Yeah.
Albuquerque,
Arkansas, Albuquerque.
UK, and it's 2:20.
New
Dang
Yeah, but
it.
what does the UK mean? Like, I know what it means, but like, are you from England or Scotland or wherever else is included in the UK? Davion?
Wales? Is Wales in the UK still?
I think so. I would say.
I think so.
Probably.
San
Oh, man.
Antonio, Texas. I love
Yeah.
how much, you know, we're from Vancouver, Canada. If you didn't see the flag. I need a better backdrop for this live stream, but
You could put my painting in the show.
Oh yeah.
we could.
Yeah, that'd be a good
It's slightly too. We need something massive.
A lot of people are watching from the
pretty
same
big.
like longitude
not-
that we're
yeah,
in.
right now.
6:20 p.m.
Live
seems
stream.
popular.
Yeah. So I guess we've been going for quite a while. We should probably wrap things up somewhat.
Thanks
my
for
baby needs my
hanging
glue.
out with us, guys.
Apparently, the devil's a pretty nice dude. Thank you, Alex's weird brain.
Friendly but homophobes. Yeah, here too ish
Okay.
sometimes.
Friendly but homophones, yeah. Yeah, we've got a lot of spots like that around here.
Yeah.
It's such a weird like contradiction to me. I find that people can be like super warm and friendly and like, you know, like Christian, like good Christians, but then there's also like extreme racism or homophobia that kind of get linked in with that, and I'm like, how do you?
Blind leading the blind.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing.
There's definitely been people where like, in order to tell them about this web series, it's like, oh, you should watch the show. Have you heard about it? No. Okay, so I came out of the closet at 19, got pregnant by 24. Like, I pretty much have to tell everyone my entire life story in like 3 sentences, and it's very funny. But like, I've had people who being like, "Oh, you're gay," and like really uncomfortable. But then I'm like, "Oh, but you should watch our show." Like, and then they're like, "Okay." Like, it's just people don't know how to respond when you're like yourself and you don't care what people think. You can get a lot further in life.
Will Smith asks, well, first of all, loved you in Fresh Prince. Hey, y'all.
25 years ago.
What order do the shows come in? I assuming they come out on Wednesdays, and
At midnight.
They go, and the first
this
one is the
Wednesday is the
pilot.
last one.
Then it goes. They all have the numbers in them, but the newest one out right now is episode 5, which we watched today. And and Randy's coming to Vancouver in October.
Come visit.
Well, let's have an
see you.
inconceivable,
That's my birthday.
See you in
inconceivable fan
October.
party in October. Why not?
Yeah.
Randy, you're invited. So
Great Britain.
so
South
yes,
Ensel area.
pajama party next week. We still haven't
You're
fully
pumped.
decided on what time it is, but you guys have been really good at following whatever time I say it is when I post the episode on Wednesdays. So by Wednesday, we'll definitely know what time it is. The format's going to be a little bit different next time because I want to get a lot of people involved, so this panel's just going to keep changing up.
It'll probably be longer.
And it is going to be
It's
longer,
definitely gonna be longer.
because we're going to binge the whole show.
What?
And I think so. I think it seems about right. We should do something special.
I think so.
Binge the whole show, and then a different panel doing a Q&A for each episode.
And if you ever have questions for Joel and I as well, the show is about us, and we are showing something about our life that happened pretty much a year ago. So we are happy to answer questions now as well, like from our perspective. Like, you could ask us about what motherhood's like, what breastfeeding's like, whatever.
I can tell you all about that.
So yeah, you guys can all wear your pajamas next week. We're gonna all be wearing our pajamas.
And we're gonna ask you guys to like tweet out or Instagram or if you can post photos on this live chat. I
You
don't know
can't
if
on the live chat, but
we'll get you guys gramming or tweeting or Facebook
and
posting.
everyone who posted your social media tags, we're gonna get you guys added by the Inconceivable account. I'll probably add you too.
Inconceivable PJ party. That might be a really long hashtag.
That might be a long one, but
Maybe 2 hashtags.
We'll have our PJ party next week. We're gonna binge the entire series. Our our third creator and third writer, Mike, is gonna be landing. So we got him.
Oh yeah,
He'll be no
Cinco
longer
de Mayo.
exciting.
We'll try to get Bruce.
Boring old Mike.
We'll get Bruce in on it. So it's gonna be really. I work 12 to 3. Keep it later.
Isn't it later? Isn't it gonna be the afternoon?
I think it's probably
It's
gonna be
probably
around
gonna
the
run
same.
for a while.
It's gonna probably be around the same time as this one. Could we maybe start it at 4 p.m.?
I can't be
We
here
should
for
show up
4,
later.
but I might just have to miss the first couple episodes, which I've already commentated and Q&A.
All right.
So
Now,
it's-
apparently we got a Mother's Day brunch. We'll probably keep it at 5, just to be
We
safe.
can cancel it.
we'll see what happens. I think we should just bring all of our moms. I think we should just have like a Mother's Day.
I feel like we could have done that today. Well, I tried, kind of.
My parents are traveling right now, but.
Put me over 100
Glitter, we are gonna put you over that 100.
If you follow me today, I will follow you back. That you have my word. So I'll check Instagram.
It might be easier for us to also add you back if you go and follow Inconceivable TV. That is our account on almost everything. Definitely Facebook. We're the best at keeping up to date on, and the gay space boy on Twitter. Even if you weren't a fan of our show, I would love to follow you.
That's awesome.
Bennett! Bennett! I love Bennett. Bennett just came out of nowhere.
Bennett, you better be here next week.
Yeah. Well, I'll be so sad if you don't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me!
Yeah. Well, all of our tags are below us. You can follow us. We're all pretty cool people, except for Katie. But
As we all just saw.
I'm kidding.
I think Katie's pretty cool.
Aw.
And I'm not just flirting.
And I'm also gonna try to find some other really awesome exclusive clips for you guys. That outtake was at the very last minute, but I really want to make sure that this final live stream is really something special, and it's gonna be a party. It's gonna be a bit of a marathon.
Star Wars pajamas.
So
Well,
get yourself some snacks next week. Get
Trevor
yourself
had
in your
jealousy.
pajamas. Maybe join some friends. We're gonna have a full-on pajama party.
I don't even think I have pajamas.
I got some spare. I got a onesie you can borrow.
I
if you want.
got a couple onesies.
Okay, someone bring a
Well, I have
large.
one onesie and one that I can borrow, probably.
I don't have a face. What face?
Okay, well, Alex,
What's the
Weird
Facebook?
Brain, the fact that you're here is awesome. I love this YouTube community. You guys are
Yeah.
killer. It's so cool how international this becomes and how like everyone is all over the place. So, thank you for watching this show. Randy, you made our day.
Yep.
So
Likewise.
so
Bennett.
much love.
We're glad you found the show.
And,
There's the screen.
Yeah, and we're actually gonna have a bit of a backyard barbecue now, and
Minus the barbecue. We're just gonna
minus
have a
the
backyard.
backyard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
we
need
have an
to.
oven.
I'll steal the
That's fine.
barbecue from
Oh,
my
not a
office.
barbecue. It's different.
Okay.
But yeah,
time.
thank you guys all for joining us, and yeah,
see you
we'll see you
guys
next
next
Sunday, and yeah, and our new episode is going to launch on Wednesday. But it's technically, if you live on the West Coast or whatever, it's like the second it turns to Wednesday Pacific time is the moment that the episode launches. So
like 3 a.m. Wednesday for Toronto.
yeah, or Damien when you're waking up. But yeah, you guys all rock. It was super fun to do one of these again. If you guys have any suggestions for us or things like that, just, comments on this video, on any of our Inconceivable videos. We see those.
Yeah.
And we love you guys. And we hope that we can end this series in a way, this season in a way that makes you guys happy. And we really want to make more. We want to have more reasons to come back at you guys live and to not have this momentum just die.
And believe us, we have a show for you.
Yes.
For many more seasons.
Oh, and one little small thing to plug. It's still very much in the works, but Rachel, you are actually starting to. Wanting. No, you don't want to talk about that.
We can. It's just very.
We'll talk about it next week.
We'll just plug it. I am starting a YouTube live show personally, that I'm going to be interviewing people, etc., etc. So maybe by next week I'll have a handle, and then you can all subscribe, because I'm really stoked. It's going to be called Relaxing with Rachel, and I have a whole bunch of topics planned out and a whole bunch of guest speakers, and I'm super stoked because we're mostly going to end up talking about sexuality and motherhood. That's kind of the so far. Anyway, I'm stoked. Relaxing with Rachel.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. We are going to sign off.
It got creepy. I was just trying to wave goodbye, and then it got weird.
And
I'm doing our weird shit.
yeah,
Everyone's just saying bye.
It
Bye,
has
bye.
been a peach. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye, guys. We love you.
Bye.
Mwah.
What's still going on?